Welcome to Trade Finance Talks. I'm Jord Billen, Head of Partnerships and Business Development here, and today we're at Sibos, Frankfurt 2025. Today I'm joined by Duncan Lodge for Bank of America. Duncan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. Well, why don't you kick off by telling us a little bit about yourself and then what you cover?
Yeah, absolutely. So I look after supply chain finance globally at Bank of America. I'm also the regional head for trade finance in EMEA, covering supply chain finance, our core trade business, and also our export and agency finance business.
And what brought you to Sibos today?
So I'm meeting a range of global financial services clients. I'm meeting our technology providers, our partners that are all critical members of the trade finance ecosystem.
Perfect. So you obviously look after EMEA, but if we take a little bit of a step back and look across the globe, how do you kind of see regionally the different demands for supply chain finance?
So I think when you think about what our corporate clients are facing at the moment, we're in a higher cost environment. We have inflation, we have higher interest rates, we have tariffs. We're also in quite an uncertain environment. And so clients are laser focused on working capital optimization, to unlock liquidity, to pay down debt. We're in an environment where clients are laser focused on risk management as well. So that's what trade finance does. That's what we do for our corporate client base and also working with our FI client base. And so when you think about the needs of our clients, it's consistent globally. Historically, you had products that were probably more prevalent in certain regions, in Asia Pacific, documentary trade more prevalent in Latin America, pre-shipment finance, pre-export loans more prevalent. But I think we're seeing a real expansion of use of supply chain finance solutions, particularly payables finance. We've seen significant growth in Latin America of supply chain finance from EMEA HQ names, US HQ names, bringing the solution to their subsidiaries and driving up optimization in that region as well.
Great. And I guess, it would be wrong for us to come to Sibos and not talk about payments as well. So if we look at the kind of payment landscape and especially, I guess, the developments across the tech landscape, how has that changed supply chain finance and I guess, the demand for different supply chain finance products?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, trade, has historically been a challenge to digitalize. There's, multiple counterparties, multiple geographies. You've got documents of title, you've got negotiable instruments. But I think we've seen that technology has evolved so rapidly. There are significant opportunities to streamline and digitalize the process end to end. I think corporates have seen the innovation in payments, moving towards real-time payments, real-time settlement. But when you look either side of the payment process, there's still a lot of inefficiency, and that includes things like invoice approval. That includes, of course, things like documentary letters of credit. So I think our view is that no single platform is going to be able to digitalize the entire trade. We think you need to bring together an ecosystem. So we're building what we call our connected trade ecosystem, where we have best-in-class platform providers coming together, collaborating, working together. And what we're trying to do is enable our clients to access that ecosystem from within their platform of choice, whether that's their ERP, whether that's their treasury management system, whether that's their multi-bank platform for trade finance. By doing that, we can stitch together the disparate parts of the trade finance transaction and then digitalize that end to end.
Thank you. I guess banks are kind of known for taking historic data and using that to kind of forecast future trends. If we do the same thing with supply chain finance and look, I guess, back at the last 25 years and look at some of the kind of the key landmarks and changes in supply chain finance, what can we expect for the next 25 years?
Yeah, I think, even if you go back 10 years, from a supply chain finance perspective, particularly payables finance, not very well known, not used quite that extensively by our corporate client base. I think now it's a very established and mature product. We have programs that are multi-funder. We have investors from the bank community. We work with over 150 globally, but we have non-bank investors coming into supply chain finance, seeing it as a very attractive asset class. We have much better ways of integrating platforms for our clients through API integration, embedded finance. We have more rapid supplier onboarding. So programs have scaled and clients are getting a lot more benefit out of the programs. At Bank of America, we're very focused on fixing the challenges of today for our client base. So we're thinking about, again, those processes that sit either side of the receivable, so invoice approval being one of them. And we know that it's something that clients often find a challenge. There's a lot of paper involved in global trade. So we've worked on delivering a solution that enables clients to digitalize and automate the invoice approval process. We've seen invoice approval times go from, in some cases, weeks to, in some cases, seconds. And that's really important because it helps clients with efficiency, but it also makes the invoices available for financing earlier in the procure-to-pay cycle for their suppliers.
Yeah, and I think a key point you touched on there was that inventory piece, and with so many things going on in the world right now, I think resilience is definitely a key theme that comes out of this. There's a lot of buzzwords at Sibos, but what's your kind of key takeaway? We're obviously at the end of the journey now.
Yeah, I think it's that AI is here. It's being used. It has so much application for trade finance. Across the transaction life cycle, across the client life cycle. So I expect to hear more about it at next year's Sibos in Miami. Very, very much looking forward to that, and looking forward to exploring more use cases.
Duncan, thank you.
Thank you.